We've heard from everybody who's anybody in this saga regarding Usyk Fury at Wembley on the April the 29th. Is it going to happen? We still don't have confirmation from it. We heard from Oleksandr Usyk yesterday saying 30, 70. I've even agreed to that, but I want £1 million sent to my fighting fund in Ukraine. I also back my manager and promoter Alex Krasiuk with everything he says. They call Tyson Fury greedy belly and say that Fury's ducking the fight. They doubt if it will happen. Certainly Krasiuk doubts if it will happen. But Frank Warren came on Drive on talkSPORT yesterday saying, forget it, it will happen. It will happen. Put all this to one side, the fight will happen. And then in the last few moments, Tyson Fury has gone off and won. My friend Mr. Jordan gets a mention, but this was Fury on where he's at with it all in the last few moments. Strap yourselves in.
I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm ready to rock and roll. I wish it was this weekend. Usyk, you gappy teeth, ugly, bog-eyed rabbit cat, ugly piece of you are getting knocked the out. And for all the haters out there as well, a massive you, because they got 70% of the Undisputed Heavyweight Championship. Simon Jordan, you a little no wonder you lost 100 million. Wrong business, you little sausage. Joe Parker, we cannot wait.
Can't wait.
Cruiserweight's getting smashed. Christian's strongest they've ever been. He's a monster. I'm a monster. Ah! Cruiserweights again demolished. Get up.
Now, my little sausage.
He's a wally, isn't he? I mean, never mind Gypsy King. He's the Gormless King. He tagged it into Simon Cowell, didn't he? He put it on Instagram. He tagged it into Simon Cowell.
So Cowell got all of that.
God, he's feeble-minded sometimes, isn't he? I mean, the bottom line, he's right, isn't he? I mean, he's maintained his position and got 70-30, so he's maintained that argument. He's right, I did lose a bunch of money. But he's a bit of a Burke, isn't he? I mean, the fact of the matter is we've done nothing but champion him forever and a day, to the point where you and I get called Fury fans left, right and centre, and he gets one little bit of criticism and he gets all feeble-minded and weak and offended by it. Good. Keep the noise up, Tyson, because we want you in the ring with Oleksandr Usyk. I'd like you to come and say these things to us in the studio, because you duck all that. What you do is you come along to press conferences, wave your little silly face around for 5 minutes and disappear off with some money you bet Frank Warren with. Look, the bottom line is that I really don't care what Tyson Fury says about me and observations he makes about people's opinions. Do you know what? I've never known an industry where people cannot take any creative or constructive observations.
How about football?
Well, football's... I tell you, I think boxing is a far more intriguing industry, and he's right. I wish I'd put more money into boxing and some money into boxing rather than into football. I understand his sentiments there. But the moment you say anything to these guys that they don't like, they'll have all the praise. They're worse than footballers. They have all the praise. You're wonderful, Tyson. You're the person that unified the... You know, Tyson, you walk around, you're a walking contradiction. You never pay your bets. You never say what you're going to do. You know, we have boar's meat, you know, that you scoff down your face with Nandrel, and we can have a whole raft of things against you, Tyson, that make you look like a hypocrite. But most of the time, what we do is say, you are the best heavyweight in the world.
Of course.
You are the one that opened the division. But here's a little bit of criticism, and off you are with one of your demented little rants with your little bag carriers in the back going, yeah, Team Tyson. By the way, can we get paid, Governor? Of course you can. Team Tyson. Oh, get over it. Get on with the fight.
You did say that if he was in here, and you never know, he'd probably come in here at some stage.
Won't have the balls.
Soon.
They're all mouth and trousers.
You would say it to his face.
Well, of course I would, because the bottom line is that what we've said about Tyson Fury and the observations that we've made that make him want to reference me in that conversation for no reason, I don't know why, are absolutely fair. They're absolutely fair. Where his observations are right is I held out and I got 70-30. Up yours, everybody. I got what I wanted out of it.
Do you know what I would say?
And he's right to say it.
Usyk, to be fair to Usyk, has got what he wanted. I don't think Usyk's that bothered about the 30-70 split. He wanted £1 million for Ukraine and he's got it. Well, and that was part of the deal for him.
I'm not sure. That's a nice...
Now, Tyson's got to remember...
He's got to pay that one.
Yeah, he's got to pay that
because he never does he? He goes into Piers Morgan's studio and says, I'm not going to fight, and bets £1 million, doesn't pay it. Talks about paying all the fight proceeds, doesn't pay it. Right? Talks about a variety of different things, doesn't do it.
And demands a bet that he wins.
Of course.
Because when you and I were in the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, he had 10 grand in his hand from Frank Warren.
That doesn't make him much of a man. He's a great fighter and he's a great champion. Right? And we can all shout down Instagrams where we're sat there with our little acolytes and spit bucket carriers, and everyone can tell you how wonderful it is. Come and say these things. Not everything has to altercate, not descend into a physicality, but come and debate people. Come and shout across the studio at people like me and see how far you get. Yes, you can punch my face in. Wonderful. Where will that get you? Get your collar felt. But the bottom line is, what it'll get you, disarmed, dismantled, eviscerated, and made to look like the fool you are sometimes. But don't be under the illusion that he still isn't, in my view, the greatest heavyweight around. Can you imagine if Tyson ever actually really got criticised, what his reaction would be?
Yeah.
Because 90% of the things that are said about him are incredibly complimentary, and there's a small proportion, ostensibly from other fighters' camps and people that support other fighters like Anthony Joshua and so on and so forth, that might have a derogatory thing to say about him. Most of the time people say, and specifically us, so you can imagine what would happen to him. He would be in a terrible state if we really gave him some proper criticism, wouldn't we?
It hasn't got you in any way, has it? It hasn't annoyed you?
No, God, Tyson's all talk, isn't he?
Yeah.
But the bottom line is he's entitled to a view. He's personalised it because he doesn't like the fact that I said a couple of days ago, I suspect, that he should be ashamed of himself if he doesn't make this fight. Well, they are making this fight. And Tyson is a man of great value of himself, and so he should be. I think he says silly things. I think he contradicts himself. He's a riddle wrapped up in an enigma. But notwithstanding that, he is, in my view, a wonderful heavyweight champion. If we get this fight on, and all that really matters is we get a great fight in it, and the rest of it's just background noise, isn't it?
I have to admit, I mean, we've had some great experiences with him, you and I. Not least that day we interviewed him up at Wembley Stadium in the England dressing room.
Well, he was wonderful.
By God, he's big.
Well, I tell you something. When he walks in the dressing room, this is the standard I judge him by. When he walks into the dressing room at Wembley Stadium, and sat down. And I've been around a lot of very significant people in my life and seen people that are perceived to be stars. I looked at him and I thought, now I know why you're a star. Because everything he exuded was quality, sophistication, style, a real star quality.
Yeah.
And since then, I've been nothing but disappointed in him. Because I think he's talked rubbish. I think he's a walking contradiction. I think he's been a hypocrite at times. And I've been more and more disappointed by him because I come from a very admiring position. Yeah. And I was the one that sat in studios with Spencer Oliver and Johnny Nelson. And at that point, when I was saying, Tyson Fury deals with Anthony Joshua, I could be held up by Tyson Fury as someone. You've got to listen to Simon Jordan. Yeah, Simon Jordan. And he even said to me, well, one thing I can be guaranteed about with you is if I've done something wrong, you'll tell me. Okay, well, I've told you now. And what you don't deal with things properly. You don't deal with things like a grown-up. You deal with things like a child.
Yeah.
You deal with things like somebody that isn't able to control his emotions. Now, I know there's an element of kidism, a kidology going on with this, but given what he said, and given the fact he can't even tag in the right person, he ain't going to get an invitation to Mensa anytime soon, is he?
So, Simon Cowell, if you're listening...
Pull your pants up, Simon.
They already are. If you're in London at the moment, or out in Barbados, where you've got beautiful property, if you are listening to us, don't worry. It's this Simon that Fury was trying to hunt down, not you.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.